everybody, I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
This is So I'm Watching Queen Charlotte, Season 1, Episode 1.
Queen to be.
So, we're trying something a little bit different, and we have gotten a lot of requests to do Queen Charlotte, and I think, and especially me, more so than you, but for a long time, I had it in my head that we had to be covering things that were new, because that was the only, like they would be in the conversation and all that. And we're just we had so much fun with Bridgerton the whole time, but especially this spring, and we're just gonna go right into Queen Charlotte, which we never got around to watching, and I'm not sure why, because I love Queen Charlotte.
I feel like we just didn't have time.
I have a very distinct memory of not watching it because I kept thinking we were gonna cover it, and then a year and a half passed. But so we just watched the first episode. And it's good. I enjoy it. It is taking place in two timelines.
Yeah. The like current Bridgerton timeline between seasons 2 and 3, presumably, and then the past when Charlotte first arrives in England.
So, because you said you think that this actually might have helped for season 3 of Bridgerton with Queen Charlotte's.
Yeah, because we were having kind of an issue where I was like, why does she still have such a hard on for Lady Whistledown? Like, but Lady Whistledown is coming down hard about, like, how come there ain't no babies in that White House?
So.
I said White House, I meant palace.
I wasn't sure.
Sorry. I've got a lot on my mind right now.
In ways that this is actually helping me. This is beneficial. I'm like, okay, it'll be nice. Let's let the brown lady take a shot.
Take a whirl, absolutely.
So, in present day, they have lost their first
legitimate grandchild.
And
the princess.
Queen Charlotte is not particularly bothered, but
sorrows, prayers. She doesn't seem to care much one way or the other that the princess is dead. She cares that the baby is dead, but also she didn't know the baby because the wife died in childbirth. But she is like, this is a crisis and you all need to start fucking legitimate people. Yeah.
Well, it's one of my favorite things about Queen Charlotte is that she is pragmatic. Yeah. She takes her job seriously. And so, and then we're cutting back to how she met and seemingly, or we will see how she fell in love with George.
Yep.
She is German and married sight unseen into the royal family.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that happened a lot, but
yeah, I think it's especially interesting because I was talking actually about this with Will the other day on our walk because that makes me sound old. We walk the dog every morning. Our little walk, our afternoon walk. He was unclear that the like blind casting was just for the show. He thought that was in the books as well. And I was like, no. I was like, this is like legitimate monarchy and everything. And I was like, and in the show, they make a couple of like notes about it. And I think that part of it is also really interesting because they seemed to know that she would be brown, as Michelle Fairley said, but not quite so brown. And so that to me is also interesting because they knew she was...
Well, I know that there is a question mark around historical Queen Charlotte as well.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I did not know that.
I think it's unsure, but they think she was mixed.
Okay, interesting. So that to me is very interesting because it seems like they were trying to make a statement, but then it was like more of a statement than they meant to. And so Michelle Fairley, for political reasons, they're calling her Princess Augusta, but she's George's mother.
Queen Regent.
Yeah. She politically decides to lean into it and is like, well then like let's invite a bunch more black people to this wedding so that we like do it right and like because George says so. Yeah, but she seems nefarious about it.
I wondered,
like rude.
Okay, but I don't think she's like sabotaging them.
I don't necessarily think she's sabotaging them, but I do think that she's thinking about it perhaps more harshly. I guess I don't know that she's gonna like. I guess anything.
Yeah, because that is where we get the introduction of Lord and Lady Danbury.
Woof.
Again, I mean that was a very deliberate introduction to him, and their marriage.
Yeah.
But I think I can't remember. Does she hate him on the show?
Well, okay, so in season 3 of Bridgerton, she had that whole thing with her brother where she was like, you married me to that man.
Okay.
And like, it was horrific and stuff. And so if it's just like being subjected to bad sex with an old man, then I'm like, you oversold it a little, but he might hit her. We just don't know.
I was getting the sense that he's maybe just unpleasant.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll have to see. There's 5 more episodes.
I did love her interaction with her maid afterwards, where she was like, you gave me no warning.
The maid was like, I had no warning.
And she was like, and now there's another surprise later? Am I going to have to do it again? Like, it was very funny.
Who is the actress playing young Agatha?
I don't know how we're pronouncing her first name. Arsima or Arsima?
She
Thomas,
was
gorgeous, really
spectacular.
pretty, and really good at delivering all the stuff. And I think actually,
your eye gravitates towards her.
Yeah, I think the two of them so far, because we have not met young Violet yet, but the two of them so far are doing a really good job at being younger versions of their Bridgerton counterparts.
Well, who is Queen Charlotte? Young Queen Charlotte.
Her name is India Amartifo.
She looks and is registering like Golda.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with the casting.
Yeah.
So at the wedding, she did introduce herself to Queen Charlotte and was very much like, be on your toes.
Yeah.
And also,
while she was looking at the Queen.
That's
why I made that comment. Yeah. Again, I don't think she's going to like
you don't think it's comically villainous
to her, but I do think she's like, I think part of it is she's like, well, we're really in it now, Ariana. And so, but I think she doesn't want to be mixing company. Okay. But she's doing it because now they have to.
But basically, young Agatha was like, if you need me,
call me.
Call.
I wanted her to be like, please call me. Please take me from my home. Anytime. I'm ready.
I am a big fan of Charlotte's brother, Adolphus.
I was until the way he said goodbye to her.
Well, in that I think he is gorgeous.
He's so hot.
Literally not even seconds passed, and I was like, who is that? I hope he's on the show and not just like an attendant. He seems like a bit of a prick. But
so apparently their parents died, which I didn't realize, and he was the one who arranged this marriage for her. And she's super not into it, and the way that he was like, I should have taken a stronger hand, and I'm just like, you guys are the same age. Like,
I think I don't know why I'm on everybody's side.
Yeah, I don't know why.
You're coming down real hard on a lot of people, and I'm like, give them a chance, except for Brimsley. I'm like, I don't trust.
Who is like ride or die for Charlotte to this day on Bridgerton, and you were like, I don't trust him, and I'm like, they are besties.
I am a famously good judge of character.
You are not a good judge of character. Who is always right in these situations? It's me. Spoiler alert.
Well, I was gonna say, I think a case could be made that he's coming on strong.
The brother?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he feels this duty. He feels this. He feels like he's trying to save the family, you know?
Which is great, and I love that, but also, like, he literally wouldn't hold her hand to say goodbye, and then called her Your Majesty, and left. That's rude. That's rude and mean, and and she was like, Adolphus. Like, she literally was like, are you shitting me? Like, what the hell?
She had a pretty spectacular meet cute with George.
Yeah.
It was about as cliche as it could be, and yet I was raptured.
He's very cute.
He was also, very...
In his headshot, that's not what I want to do. He does have what you consider to be the world's best haircut.
I hate his hair.
For men.
Okay. Yeah. Literally, the first thing I said was, I was like, well, you need to grow your hair out.
And I said, I'm very apologetic, but I don't think he does in the show.
So I remember, obviously, like, broad strokes. Like, I remember that she had a strange relationship with her husband, and he's still alive on Bridgerton, right? But he's addled.
I'm assuming dementia.
Okay.
But also, I know some stuff about this because I'm on the internet in a slightly different way than you, and so he also has mental problems as a young man.
Okay.
So that's
because he was great until he wasn't.
Yeah.
And she really...
I think we're looking at a scotch of bipolar disorder.
Okay. Yeah. he seems pretty smitten with her, and they like had their meet cute. They had the wedding. She changed back into her dress, which was, or changed into the dress she brought, which you're right, was nice and was nicer than the one they had her in, but I was expecting a little bit more.
Me too.
Although I loved the hair.
And she had a cape too, like a
mhm.
jeweled cape, which was really beautiful. I really hate the like, as soon as Michelle Fairley was like, well, it's not proper in England, I was like, fuck you, lady. I was like, this again from you? Like, anyway, she is also not just Game of Thrones. She's been this type of character. I was like, she does have kind of a severe face. I get it, but like, she could be nice. Just be nice sometimes.
I kind of understood Kat.
Of course,
I had more patience for her, I think, than you did, but
I didn't like. This is not about Game of Thrones, but I didn't like what a dick she was about Jon, because I was like, you can't just all of a sudden be a dick about your husband's bastard when he's 14. You can't wait that long and be a humongous dick. Like, you've raised him this whole time with the rest of your children. You can't decide now that it's too far, especially when he's about to go take the black on the whatever. I have problems with that.
So yeah, they get married, and George brings her to her house.
It's Buckingham Palace.
Oh, well.
So it's Buckingham House in this time, but then in the future they built the wings, and so then it was Buckingham Palace.
And he lives elsewhere.
In Kew, which I don't know where that is.
I'm not sure why it was so weird, other than, as you mentioned, he has issues. But...
Yeah, so he was like, I thought it would be easier for you, and I think something happens to him at night, maybe, and he doesn't want to, like, I don't know that part for sure.
That makes all the beast stuff.
Potentially, yeah, but I think not like, I don't think he goes through a physical transformation.
No, but the illusions, the Beauty and the Beast, well, and Cupid and Psyche is that way too, where she can't look at him at night.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I think, is that he's like, well, we can't like
cohabitate,
do that because it'll make you run off or whatever. And she's very like, aren't you supposed to fuck me? Like.
But I don't think she doesn't know. We're still in Bridgerton, so she's like, we're meant to do something. Yeah. I figured you were gonna have the other half of the knowledge needed. Yeah.
And also, it's the same thing too, where she's like, my governess told me. So it's like, obviously their parents are dead, but it was like, she was like, my governess told me that something happens.
But he lost his temper, and she shut down, and he seemed upset about that. Yeah. But not enough to really do anything about it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you, I mean, again, because I was like, well, maybe it's like night terrors, like, or something. And so like, how do you, how are you like, in the middle of the night, I wake up and take off all my clothes and run around screaming, I mean, but
sounds like a party.
Ooh, I'll get the champagne.
Sexy party.
Let's do it. But yeah, so I do feel like there's probably some sort of embarrassment about that, potentially, that he doesn't want to like explain or whatever.
I just wondered if it was at first I wondered if it was a not knowing how to do it, because I know that was sort of the issue in Marie Antoinette. Yeah, and it's because he's the one that was obsessed with the keys and the locks.
It's one or the other. It's not both pieces, but I think he's obsessed with locks. Yeah,
a little on the nose. Yeah. But, so yeah. Like I said, having a good time, and
yeah, I liked it a lot.
It and
I feel like, so we did do a love reaction, which will go on Patreon. I feel like we didn't have like a ton of reactions.
No,
but
it wasn't super riotous. Like there were good moments. Is Brimsby gay?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Did we know that?
No, I know. Well, people told us in our comments on Bridgerton too. That's like him, and I think his name is Reynolds.
Well, there was a look, and I was like, hey-oh, and you were like, yep. But, yeah, we're not entirely sure how we're going to do this, if we're going to check in every time, or periodically, beginning, middle, end. We'll see as we go, and like you said, I think it's only 6 episodes.
It is, yes, correct.
Yeah, so we're going to watch the next episode, and then we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Although it's not that song. Oh, and there was a new intro.
Yeah.
It was animated. Pretty. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was pretty.